Patriots, gaytriots, theytriots.
Caw-caw.
Oh.
Caw-caw.
Yes.
We're at the DNC
Yes, we
with our favorite gaytriot correspondent, AustinShow.
Yes.
And we've been hanging out behind the scenes, and we thought we needed to become camera official at the DNC.
Absolutely. The last time we were on camera together, I believe, was on your podcast in Oklahoma. But now people are going to really see the extent of our very close relationship that we have formed behind the scenes off camera. Now we're making it camera official here at the Democratic National.
That's right. This is not a soft launch.
No, this is a hard launch.
Rock hard cock launch.
Your rock hard cock launch. Hassan is going to be able to see the affair that I've been having
That's
Right,
right.
cheating.
on camera. I've been cheating on him hard.
I know.
He has no idea.
I know. You always come home to your mom.
I really always do. I've seen you guys more than I've seen Hassan this trip.
I know. We run into him everywhere.
Yeah.
Seems like we're following
I
him.
know.
Okay, what I want to talk about first is that convicted felon Donald Trump,
Yeah, 34 times.
34,
And counting.
on Truth Social is re-gramming or retweeting or retruthing, whatever, re-hating that AI images of Taylor Swift endorsing him. What are your opinions on that?
Well, first of all, it's such a bad idea. It's such a bad idea because if you want to, number one, Swifties aren't going to like that very much.
Right.
And if they were ever, first of all, they were never going to vote for him anyway. But now they're really going to be motivated to vote against him, even more so, because they're trying to, now you're using Taylor Swift, her name and likeness, in a fake image that is showing her supporting Trump, which she would never do.
Right.
And her fans would never do. I haven't even looked at Twitter, and I'm sure it's pissing them off.
Okay, here's in my fantasy world. Here's what I want. And I know that the Democrats are the people running the DNC are a lot less impulsive and petty and vindictive as I want them to be. But if I were running the DNC, I would do each night roll out a huge star. And the final would be a duet between Beyonce and Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
Introducing and singing, and then Kamala comes out through them, and they do
And she sings with them.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or
harmony.
They do
dance.
some
Three-way
dancing.
harmony, yeah.
In my fantasy world, I would want to know, how quickly does MAGA shit their pants if something like that happens?
I mean,
Stage fright.
extremely quickly. They will be sucking on an incredible amount of copium.
Right.
They will be coping hard, like this is not a big deal. We don't want them. They're cat ladies. They're weird. They have blue hair. They'll be freaking out in all the best ways.
Yeah.
I have a question. Donald Trump, he has the Taylor Swift AI generated post, and he says, I accept. Do we think he thought it was real, or do we think he knew that it was bullshit and he was just trying to game the system? Because I can go either way on that.
100% thought it was real. He thinks everybody likes him, that he's the best person that has ever lived.
Yeah.
He's a megalomaniac. It never entered his mind that wasn't real.
So I used to think that Trump knew these things weren't real because there was a quote way back when that said if he was going to run, I'd run as a Republican because they're so stupid they'll believe anything, something like that. So I always thought that he believed that all these things were fake and he was peddling them as a conspiracy because he knew people would believe it. But now I'm starting to think, I actually think he is legitimately delusional, and he's a 78-year-old man. He could easily be duped by an AI image.
Yeah. I totally think that he believes that he believes everybody wanted Roe overturned.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I go back, I know I keep saying this, but surely he really doesn't believe that.
He does, because this is why he's so dangerous. This is why he's so dangerous for America, both domestically and foreign affairs wise, because he's easy to manipulate. All you have to do is flatter him. You can say, even Democrats wanted that changed. And he hears what he wants to hear, and then it's like everybody wanted it.
I want to hone in on that, flattering. He is immediately loyal to anybody who loves him or adores him, which is why he panders to Putin and
Orban.
or any fascist leader that kisses up to him that understands that fact. I have a hot take here to say that maybe he is aware that Roe is not as popular as it is, but he's such a narcissist, and he knows it's something that nobody has been able to overturn for generations. And he, despite it not being widely popular, he can't help himself but take credit for something that so many people have tried to do, and he was the one to do it.
Right.
So despite that, it's like this competition between him being a narcissist and then him wanting to actually win. I think they compete often.
Okay, this brings me to, I want to do a dramatic reading of a Truth Social post from last night that Donald Trump, or this might have been from today. He says, an angry and ranting speech full of lies. Biden took credit for everything done during the Trump administration, even continuing to say that he was better on inflation and jobs. He never mentioned the Afghanistan disaster and all of the wars he got us into, or the fact that more people died from COVID during the Biden years than the Trump years. The jobs Biden/Harris, quote, created were almost 100% from illegal aliens pouring into our country, which are destroying the lives of our Black and Hispanic population.
It's unbelievable. The racism.
Yeah, the racism by also saying it's destroying the other, that's insane.
He's insane.
And it's a lie, obviously. And the Afghanistan kills me because it was quite literally his plan.
Yes.
The Afghanistan pullout, it was his plan.
Right.
They executed it the way he wanted it to go.
Right.
And then he turned around and blamed.
The commitments that he made, we honored.
Yes, we did. He's such a nut. He is, we have created more jobs under the Biden administration. That is a fact. And he likes to take credit for things that are currently happening. So when the stock market was going well, which it is going well, he said it was because they thought Trump was going to win. When it crashed, or, had a bad day rather, he was taking credit or putting that blame on Biden.
Right.
So you're controlling the stock market. What is it? You can't only have it when it's good and then put it on Biden when it's not as good. Mind you, the biggest crash ever was when he was president.
Right.
Right.
And he was the one saying from the White House press corps room, inject bleach. Don't you think that's a great idea? Like, your COVID policies were so terrible.
Yeah, awful.
Like, again, I just keep asking the question, can he believe the shit that he's spewing? Or does he just, like the fact check situation, like these news conferences where he lies 162 times? I'm like, I used to think he knew he was lying and he did it anyway. Now I just think he says whatever he wants and he doesn't think about it.
I think he genuinely believes he won the election in 2020. I think he genuinely believes that. He just doesn't think he doesn't understand how it's, in his head, he doesn't understand how it's possible.
Here's what's so disturbing is whether he believes any of this stuff or not is, you can walk down, on your way to the United Center and you see people on the side of the street that are disoriented, possibly mentally ill. And so we've all seen mentally ill, disoriented people on a daily basis. And so we see that with Trump. What's problematic for me is all of the support that he gets from both inside the Republican Party and just everyday Americans. And back to the flattery, you have people like the Heritage Foundation and J.D. Vance who know how to...
I was looking at it and I was like,
he just rubbed the couch.
Somebody be really having a problem.
They know how to flatter him and get him to be exactly where they want, because he's notorious during his administration. He didn't like briefings. He was bored when he met with the Department of Defense. He was bored when he was talking about policy and policy briefings. He only wanted to talk about his rallies, his tweets, and polling. That's all he's interested in. So it makes him so dangerous, whether he believes any of this or not, that people that enable him and vote for him, that's who I want to hone in on.
Yes.
What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, and that's really important to say, because Trump is not what do they say? It's not, what's the saying?
Trojan horse.
Yeah, he himself is just the vehicle for...
The vessel. The imperfect vessel.
Yeah, the vessel for something that has, for generations, a part of the party, or a large majority of the party, has been trying to get certain policies, Roe versus Wade overturned. He is just the perfect vehicle for this to happen. So even if Trump disappears, right, and we win, inshallah, in November, it will not be the last of this sort of rhetoric. It won't be the last of this sort of policy. So I think people need to understand that once Trump is gone, it's not like, oh, we've defeated the possibility of fascism. We still need to continue to work hard because these ideas have existed within the Republican Party for a very long time, and they're going to continue to exist, and they're going to find creative ways to package it to dupe people into voting for things that would overturn the rights of women, overturn the rights of gay men and trans people. So they are going to continue, and he is just the vessel. And he's such a narcissist. He's the perfect vessel because he doesn't have anything that he truly believes in. He just wants to be admired and in control.
All right, let's talk about this. There's been a lot of reports about, I read an article this morning that the Republican Party was trying to throw out 40,000 registered voters. And you see all of these nefarious actors on the right because they know if it were just left up to the popular vote, their party's over.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They know that.
For sure.
They have to game the system. So I'm wondering, if this is a close election, which the last two have been because of this stupid, archaic electoral college, I'm wondering how Congress behaves, how the courts behave, because Trump has appointed lots and lots of judges, and I'm really curious how the Supreme Court behaves.
Yes, me as well. I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Because they have done some things specifically, giving him immunity was very scary. Overturning Roe, and they're going to go after marriage equality. I'm terrified of what that they could do. So we can't have it close.
That's right.
That's the deal. We have to vote like hell and make sure it's not close. Beyond a doubt that not even within the range of recount, it cannot be close because I don't know what they would do. I don't think anybody, and I don't think we can sit here and be like, oh, they'll do the right thing.
No,
they won't.
They've proven they can.
I mean, I think we just saw Neil Gorsuch go on Fox recently, and mind you, his colleagues' wives really flirt a lot with insurrectionism.
Yep.
And his co-worker, Clarence Thomas, hangs out with a Nazi billionaire, Harlan Crow.
Yep.
And he has the audacity when Biden speaks about Supreme Court reform, which everybody wants. Everybody sees the corruption in the court. He goes on Fox, which is the most partisan propaganda network. And this is a sitting Supreme Court justice, and says on air, Biden better be careful. And that, to me, is a snapshot of the emboldened Trumpism, where they felt like when they, in Charlottesville, that they could come out without their hoods on. And they are all so emboldened to be so racist. And the white supremacy is at a height that I have never seen. When Neil Gorsuch did that, that really hit me. Like, they really think they're better than everybody. And that they're in charge of everything, and that the rules don't apply to them.
And they believe that they're in the majority of popular opinion too. They believe that.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's incredible. Like Trump always saying, well, I got more votes than any sitting president. Well, you still fucking lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This kills me. I love when he says this. I got more votes than any. Yeah, and the other guy got more than you did.
Right. Yeah. Why are we talking about it?
He got the most votes of any, I think, presidential candidate ever. Biden.
Yeah. And he beat Trump by, I think it was 8 million.
Yeah.
8 million.
It's like being the home football team and scoring 50 points, and it breaks your home record of like, we've never scored more points as a home team. But then the away team scores 54, and then it's like, you still lost. Congratulations. You broke the record and you lost.
Let's talk about the fact that he never admitted that he lost, and the transfer of power, and just how the Republican Party that was the John McCain, which I didn't vote for, and then Mitt Romney, which I was terrified of, which now I kind of laugh at.
Yeah.
Right.
But there was a decency about the decorum and upholding democracy and democratic ideals. They were way too conservative for me, way too right-winger, way, too capitalistic. But there was a sense of decorum and decency. Like if you and I played tennis right now and I lost, I would walk across the court and shake your hand and say, good game. And that's what you have to do. This guy, Trump, couldn't even go shake his opponent's hand.
No.
He had to pack up his toys and tuck and roll. And then he got all the bullies to go smash the Capitol. And the fact that the polls are even still this close
Yeah.
is terrifying to me.
No, me too.
What a cancer this man is
Yes.
on this country.
I think a lot of people take for granted our democracy and our freedom to choose our, what we want, and the freedom to not be under fascist rule. I think people don't think it can happen to us.
Right.
That's why. So nobody, unfortunately, because his rhetoric has been so insane, people are in a way numb to it.
Yes.
Yep.
They're numb to it. So it's so crazy that they just don't, because it's so incredibly insane, he's been doing it for 8 years, it's almost like they don't believe that he'll be that. They'll be like, oh yeah, he won't be that crazy, come on, we have institutions to protect against that. But they're not paying attention to like the Supreme Court justice saying, Biden, watch out.
Right.
Or them giving him presidential immunity. To me, it is frustrating. It's like, at what point will the electorate understand that it's happening to us? It's not just can it happen, it is happening to us.
Here's what's more insidious than that, though, Austin. Where we live in a red state, they want this type of Christian nationalist
they like
rule.
it.
Yes, that's what's crazy. They want fascism.
Most insidious.
Yes.
We have a Christian nationalist governor who, after he won, he stood on television and said, I dedicate every square inch of the state to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We have a school superintendent who has mandated that we put the 10 Commandments in every public school, and he sits and does TikToks from his car. It's the weirdest thing. Y'all can look this up. And talks about gay people and transgender people more than any gay or trans person I've ever met in my life. And I'll leave that up to the psychologist to figure out why he's so consumed.
That's it. They're obsessed. They're obsessed.
But the problem is there are the people that are like, oh, I kind of like Trump, and they're low information voters. But there's a large appetite of America. It's not a majority, it's a minority that like this cruelty and they like this cruel brand of government.
Well, they're disenfranchised. They're angry. They're mad. They're hateful. And for some reason, instead of pointing their hate and anger towards policy that is directly influenced by Republicans, they decide that they're going to direct their hate against people like trans people or gay people that have no impact. If LGBTQ people have rights, their lives don't change at all.
That's right.
Right.
Their lives don't change at all, but for some reason, they're obsessed. And the Republican Party has identified this group of people, and they understand that this is what they're passionate about, and this is their wedge issues social issues. They can't talk about policy.
No.
They can't talk about policy.
I saw on Fox this morning that they're having such a hard time branding Kamala and Tim that now they're claiming that Tim Walz is a Chinese sleeper agent.
That's crazy.
I mean, they are
he taught English.
That's crazy.
They are reaching so far to figure out how they are going to brand. I think they've landed on Comrade Kamala is their big...
Comrade Kamala.
Uh-huh.
I don't think obviously they're scrambling because it's not effective. The one thing I'm really proud of the Democratic Party for doing, and we haven't done in a long time, is, and it was evident in the Waltz decision, is they are putting forth candidates that have a very good, true progressive agenda. I mean, look at Waltz and what he's done in Minnesota.
Yes.
I mean, those policies, progressive policies, are incredibly popular policies, right? They're incredibly popular policies, and policies that I hope the party continues to push. Things like that Tim Waltz is like, Medicare for, I don't know if the Democratic Party is going to push that. I'm a fan of Medicare for all.
Yeah.
But things like that are very popular. And I'm happy that the party has, chose Waltz. I think it's evident of that.
I think the Democratic Party taking a progressive message to the American public for moral reasons is the best thing that we can do. Living in the buckle of the Bible Belt.
Yep.
Around all of these very religious people, their arguments start falling apart very quickly when you say, well, I'm voting for the Democrat because I believe that I have a moral duty to vote for the most marginalized member of my community before I vote for myself. And they start thinking about what their pastor has said and whatnot. And I'm not even religious. I mean, I'm a total atheist.
Yeah.
But they very quickly, if you say, well, so you're not for everybody to have health care, you only think the privileged should, their whole worldview starts falling apart.
Yeah.
When you take progressive principles, and this is what's so fascinating to me as an atheist. If I sit and listen to my friends that are religious and they talk about the teachings of Jesus and they'll go on, drone on, and then I hear the politicians they vote for, those worldviews are antithetical to one another.
Completely.
If I listen to Bernie Sanders
Yes.
or AOC
Yes.
or Tim Walz, it is more like the character that is written about in the Bible that was a brown-skinned Jesus that sat with people that were suffering, who really was not a big fan of the accumulation of wealth.
Yes.
But the Jesus in Red America is a white, photoshopped capitalist that likes guns and big trucks with big tires on it. And it's just how they reconcile all of that. The only way that this can have the head-on collision that it needs to, as Biden says, save the soul of America, is to take the progressive values for moral reasons. This is the way we're voting, to the religious base of this country. I think that's what this election is about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love what you talked about, because it's just been something that the Republicans have branded themselves as the party of Jesus. Like, come on. Jesus doesn't care about, like, Jesus cared about poor people, if you believe it.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus cared about poor people. Now, I will say they're onto something about the women thing, because I don't think he was, the Bible was not a big fan of women, or it was very restrictive to women.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
So maybe that is more of a Republican
I think
ideal.
there's like an Old Testament, version, and then there's like the New Testament. But I agree, all Abrahamic religions are not very good for women.
But there's so much in the Bible that they don't even listen to anymore.
They pick and choose.
They pick and choose. They cherry pick. They're like, gay people, women, those things.
Okay. Before we wrap here, we have been posting from the DNC, and we've received some hate comments, which we love to.
Yes, I love that.
Okay. All right. Kimbo, we did a whole little snap reel of DNC night 1, and Kimbo responds, cap lock, hope you all felt safe with those fence borders for protection. I am sure people that live in Chicago would love that same protection. You white, lefty, snobby women.
That's crazy. Clearly, whoever this is lives in Iowa. And has never been to Chicago. Iowa's actually really close, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it kind of is, but it's a completely different vibe.
Maybe they're in Oklahoma, some small town. Chicago is an incredibly clean.
It is so clean.
It's fabulous.
Fabulous city.
Okay, Rusty writes to us. DNC hates America and wants you all to live like Venezuela. They have the same communist ideologies. It's just fascinating.
Yeah.
It's just idiocy on parade.
They have this buzzword bullshit they learned from Fox.
Yeah.
And they're communists.
They can't even
Venezuela.
define.
They don't even know what any of that is.
That's why I don't think it's a powerful narrative for the Republicans, because I don't think most Americans know what the hell that means.
Every Democratic president that we have had has crushed in a positive way, has boomed the economy. The biggest myth that I have had it with is that Republicans are good at business. And they have been able to ride this myth for so long. And where we live, where you have people that aren't voting for, they're not like big gun people, big pro-lifers, but they're big economy people. They said, well, I'm socially liberal, but fiscally conservative. That's what they always say. And I'm like, well, the Republicans wreck the economy.
I know, all the time.
They have it.
All the time. And they're fiscally conservative because this is a really interesting point that I learned. All Americans believe that they're just temporarily disenfranchised, temporarily poor, or temporarily in a position. They all think that they'll be future millionaires.
Yes.
So that's why people get cucked into this idea that we need to vote for the rights of capital owners, because they think they'll be in that position one day. So when you have that's how people get duped into voting corporations shouldn't be taxed more than, more at all. They have a right to, they have rights too, that sort of thing, is because they think they'll be in that position one day.
Right.
They'll be millionaires one day. That's why they vote.
Think about working class people that are getting screwed over by these boardrooms, and then they end up advocating for the 1%. and end up bashing unions. And it's amazing how successful the messaging from the right-wing echo chamber has been, that they control the complete false narrative regarding the economy. It's fascinating. Great. Here's my last hate comment, and this is a fantastic comment from Riri.
Okay.
Riri says, they definitely need all the celebrities, influencers, and actors to promote them, because they can't run under their own policies and how well the economy is doing. And what I have to say to you, Riri, is thank you so much for calling us celebrities.
Right. Was that meant towards us?
Yes, because it was our post.
I'd be honest with you, you guys run this shit. I like I've been name dropping you guys and getting into places.
Oh, bullshit.
I'm serious. Like I don't even know if I can say this.
He was trying to get his credentials.
I was trying to get my credentials, and they're like, And I was like, I'm on my way to interview with Jen and Pumps. And they're like, immediately.
So, see, I mean,
it's
Riri thought she was trolling us, but I mean,
it was a compliment.
I was kind of flattered to be.
I'm going to stick around with you guys. I'm serious. I'm going to stick by you guys, I think.
Okay, so tonight we're going to be, you know what we should do? We'll take a lot of footage tonight. We've got Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, others. It's so fun to be here.
Yes, so excited.
Austin is my gaytriot bestie on the planet.
Yes.
So everybody subscribe, watch, rate, review, do all the stuff. We're here all week. We're going to be hanging out with Austin all week. And
thank you for having me.
Thank you for
always a
coming.
pleasure. Anytime you need me, I'm here.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you guys.
It's so